Chosen one, I need you to stop whatever you're doing right now. Heaven is shaking. Angels are moving. Something extraordinary is happening in the spiritual realm concerning you. Congratulations. In just 24 hours, when the 12/12 portal fully opens, even God himself will scream your name across the heavens. Chosen one. Before we go deeper, pause for a moment. If this message is already speaking to your spirit, don't just watch silently. Subscribe now so you don't miss the confirmations God sends your way. You know how the enemy tries to distract you right when you need a word the most. This is not a normal message. This is an emergency broadcast from heaven's war room. The spiritual atmosphere around you has just shifted, and God has authorized me to inform you. It's over. The battle that has been draining your soul, the warfare that has been attacking your mind, the opposition that has been delaying your destiny, its assignment has expired. Listen carefully. December 12th marks the divine completion of a cycle that was meant to break you. But instead of breaking, you qualified. Your tears weren't wasted. Your prayers weren't ignored. Your faithfulness wasn't overlooked. Heaven has been watching you fight battles in silence. Heaven has been recording every moment you stayed faithful when giving up would have been easier. Heaven has been measuring your endurance while the enemy was measuring your breaking point. And now the verdict has come in your favor. The 12/12 realm is a special portal of divine completion. It's when God puts his seal on what is finished and what is beginning. The enemy knows this. That's why the attacks against you have intensified these past weeks. That's why familiar spirits have been resurfacing. That's why old wounds suddenly started hurting again. The darkness recognized your elevation before you did. But hear me clearly. When God screams your name across the heavens tomorrow, it's his declaration that your warfare has ended. It's his announcement that your restoration has begun. This is why you've been feeling strange spiritual pressure. This is why you've been experiencing unusual dreams. This is why random people have been mentioning you in conversation. This is why certain enemies suddenly reappeared in your life. You are at the threshold of your greatest breakthrough, and darkness is making its final attempt to block you. But chosen one, heaven says congratulations, because what was meant to destroy you has just qualified you for a double portion. What was meant to silence you has just earned you a louder voice. What was meant to bury you has just positioned you for resurrection. The 12/12 release has been activated over your life. Chosen one, I need to reveal something critical about the intense spiritual warfare you've been facing. This wasn't random. This wasn't bad luck. This wasn't even about what you did wrong. The attacks targeted you because your spiritual DNA carries a threat to darkness. Every headache that wouldn't go away, every night you couldn't sleep, every relationship that suddenly turned hostile, every financial door that slammed shut, every old wound that reopened without warning. These were calculated strikes against specific destiny markers in your life. The enemy isn't creative, he's strategic. He studied your patterns. He identified your weak points. He analyzed your past trauma. Then he launched an all-out assault on the areas where your calling is most powerful. Why would darkness invest so much in fighting you? Because your assignment carries kingdom authority. Because your voice holds deliverance for others. Because your testimony will free captives. Because your breakthrough threatens the enemy's territory. God allowed this warfare for one reason: to qualify you. Every attack was a training ground. Every battle was preparation. Every tear was counted as investment. Every moment of faithfulness was recorded as evidence. What felt like abandonment was actually advanced training. Heaven was measuring your response under pressure. Would you still worship when it hurt? Would you still believe when it made no sense? Would you still stand when everyone else walked away? And chosen one, you passed. Not perfectly, not without struggles, not without questions, but you endured. That's what qualified you for this 12/12 release. The enemy thought he was breaking you, but he was actually building you. He thought he was delaying your destiny, but he was actually developing your character. He thought he was destroying your faith, but he was actually deepening your dependency on God. Now everything changes. The spiritual pressure that felt like it was crushing you, it suddenly snaps. The invisible resistance that made simple tasks feel exhausting, it suddenly dissolves. The confusion that clouded your thinking, it suddenly clears. This is the warfare exposure. What the enemy meant for evil, God allowed for elevation. Your suffering wasn't punishment. Your pain wasn't punishment. Your struggle wasn't rejection. It was qualification for what God is about to release through the 12/12 portal, when even God himself will scream your name across the heavens. Chosen one, listen carefully to this revelation. There were specific spiritual contracts assigned against your life. Invisible assignments, targeted attacks, strategic blockages designed to stop December 12th from ever happening in your timeline. These were not random attacks, they were calculated warfare against your destiny. Every assignment had an expiration date, but the enemy fought to extend it. Every blockage had a time limit, but darkness fought to reinforce it. Every delay had a boundary, but spiritual forces fought to perpetuate it. But heaven has just announced, these assignments have expired. The contract that targeted your confidence terminated. The assignment against your finances cancelled. The spiritual attack against your health revoked. The warfare against your relationships nullified. The assignment against your peace abolished. God just stamped completed across every strategy that was designed to break you. The expiration wasn't scheduled for 12/12. It happened the moment you opened this message. That's why you felt drawn to it. That's why you couldn't ignore it. That's why something in your spirit leaped when you saw it. Your spirit recognized the announcement before your mind understood it. The exact point where the enemy's authority was revoked over your life was when you refused to give up despite having every reason to surrender. When you chose faith when fear made more sense. When you decided to believe when doubt seemed more reasonable. At that precise moment, heaven issued a termination notice against every assignment formed against you. Now, chosen one, you have divine permission to walk away from battles that are already won. You are authorized to stop fighting where victory has already been declared. You are commanded to cease striving where grace has already prevailed. The enemy wants you to keep fighting expired assignments, so you'll be too exhausted to enter your next season. He wants you to keep reliving old trauma, so you'll miss the new blessing. He wants you to keep revisiting past pain, so you'll be distracted from present purpose. But today, you're being released from expired warfare. The chains have fallen. The prison door has opened. The assignment has ended. The contract has expired. You've been fighting too long for something heaven has already settled in your favor. Your 12/12 release is not just coming, it's already activated. Chosen one, what I'm about to tell you might be difficult to hear, but your elevation requires this truth. Not everyone around you is authorized to follow you into this next season. This divine separation is not about becoming isolated, it's about becoming aligned. As God lifts you through this 12/12 portal, He is simultaneously exposing hearts. He is revealing motives. He is uncovering masks. He is bringing to light what has been hidden in darkness. You will begin to notice certain people growing uncomfortable around your new authority. You'll feel some relationships becoming strained without explanation. You'll witness some supporters suddenly turning silent. You'll experience some friends inexplicably pulling away. This is not rejection, this is protection. God is creating necessary distance between you and anyone who cannot handle your next level. He is separating you from those who loved your struggle but will resent your success. He is removing those who were assigned to your season but not to your destiny. This divine warning comes with specific instruction. Do not chase anyone who is walking away. Do not beg for relationships that God is dissolving. Do not fight to keep connections that heaven is severing. When God removes someone, it's either to protect you from them or to protect them from the level of warfare your calling will attract. These divine removals will happen in 3 specific areas. First, relationships that secretly fed your insecurity while publicly claiming to support your confidence. Second, connections that consistently left you drained, confused, and questioning your worth. Third, alliances that God temporarily permitted for a specific purpose that has now been fulfilled. How will you recognize doors God is permanently closing? They will shut without your effort. They will stay closed despite your attempts to reopen them. They will feel final in your spirit, even when your emotions want to question it. The pain of this separation is real, but necessary. The grief is valid, but temporary. The confusion makes sense, but clarity is coming. This elevation requires separation because some people are assigned as elevators, others as escalators, and still others as anchors. God is removing the anchors so you can rise. Your 12/12 release demands this realignment. Your new authority requires this reconfiguration. Your divine assignment necessitates this repositioning. Trust the separation, honor the closure, respect the boundaries. Chosen one, God has seen what others have not. He has witnessed the weight you've carried in silence. He has observed the battles you've fought without recognition. He has recorded the tears you've shed when no one was watching. You have smiled through pain that would have crushed others. You have remained standing when most would have collapsed. You have continued believing when logic argued against faith. The Father says to you today, I am restoring what warfare has depleted. Your spiritual, emotional, and physical strength has been under targeted attack. The enemy knew that if he could exhaust you, he could stop you. If he could drain you, he could delay you. If he could weaken you, he could limit your impact. But hear this promise. You will not enter this next season depleted. You will not cross this 12/12 threshold exhausted. You will not step into divine elevation with emptiness. Heaven is releasing supernatural refreshing to your spirit right now. Divine strength is flowing into areas where you've been operating on fumes. Heavenly restoration is touching places where you've been functioning from reserve tanks. What does this restoration look like? It manifests as sudden peace where anxiety once ruled, unexpected clarity where confusion dominated, renewed energy where fatigue was constant, restored passion where numbness had settled, fresh hope where despair had taken root. This is your shift from survival mode to advancement positioning, from defensive warfare to offensive authority, from standing your ground to taking new territory. For too long, you've been stuck in survival, just trying to make it through each day, just trying to keep your head above water, just trying not to lose ground. But God says, that season is over. You're being repositioned from survival to revival, from maintenance to momentum, from defense to offense. The very areas where you felt weakest will become showcases of God's strength. The places where you felt most vulnerable will demonstrate His power. The situations where you felt most inadequate will reveal His sufficiency. Listen. I know you're watching quietly, just taking everything in. But chosen ones like you don't come across these messages by accident. If this is touching your soul, hit that subscribe button. Don't keep walking through spiritual warfare alone when a whole family of chosen ones is right here with you. Chosen one, there's a reason your journey has been uniquely difficult. There's a purpose behind the intensity of your trials. There's divine intention in the unusual challenges you've faced. This was never random. This was never punishment. This was never abandonment. It was confirmation of who you truly are. Common people face common trials. Average spirits endure average warfare. Ordinary vessels experience ordinary opposition. But you? Your battles have been extraordinary because your calling is exceptional. The enemy doesn't waste premium ammunition on non-threats. Darkness doesn't deploy high-level warfare against average believers. The kingdom of darkness doesn't assign specialized opposition to ordinary vessels. Your intense opposition confirms your extraordinary assignment. This is why you've always felt different. This is why you've never quite fit in. This is why conventional advice never quite worked for you. This is why standard paths always felt wrong for your journey. You are not random, you are not average, you are not overlooked. You are chosen, handpicked, marked, and protected. Today, heaven releases this identity confirmation into your spirit. The confusion about who you are and why you're here is lifting. The questions about your purpose and your path are being answered. The doubt about your value and your worth is dissolving. Receive this truth. You are exactly who God says you are, not who people have labeled you, not who circumstances have defined you as, not who failure has convinced you that you are. Your divine selection explains why certain people fought you without reason, why obstacles appeared when you tried to advance, why unusual resistance met your simplest efforts, why spiritual attacks intensified when you made progress, why isolation became your familiar companion. These weren't signs of heaven's rejection, but evidence of heaven's election. These weren't proof of divine abandonment, but confirmation of divine appointment. The pressure wasn't meant to crush you, it was designed to crystallize you. The fire wasn't sent to destroy you, it was allowed to refine you. The opposition wasn't permitted to stop you, it was used to strengthen you. Today, heaven confirms your true identity. The questions end here. The uncertainty dissolves here. The confusion lifts here. You are a chosen one, and this 12/12 release is your coronation moment. Chosen one. Within the next 24 hours, as the 12/12 portal fully activates, expect a supernatural shift in your atmosphere. This isn't coming later. This isn't scheduled for next month. This isn't waiting for next year. This is happening now. This is unfolding in real time. This is manifesting as you receive this message. The spiritual air around you is changing. The invisible barriers are dissolving. The unseen resistance is breaking. The heavenly frequencies are aligning specifically with your spiritual DNA. Watch for these 5 manifestation signs that will confirm the atmospheric shift. First, sudden clarity. Questions that have haunted you for months will suddenly make sense. Confusion that has clouded your thinking will lift like morning fog. Decisions that seemed impossible will become obvious. Direction that was hidden will emerge with crystal clarity. Second, unexpected peace. Anxiety that has gripped your chest will release its hold. Fear that has paralyzed your steps will lose its power. Worry that has robbed your sleep will dissolve. A peace that defies logic will settle over your spirit, not because circumstances changed, but because your spiritual atmosphere shifted. Third, divine confirmation. Watch for repeated numbers, specific words, unusual encounters. Someone will mention exactly what you've been praying about. A stranger will confirm what God has been whispering to your heart. A message will address the exact question you've been asking, heaven. Fourth, supernatural boldness. Courage will rise where timidity once ruled. Confidence will emerge where insecurity dominated. Authority will manifest where hesitation was your pattern. You'll find yourself speaking truth you previously feared to voice, taking stands you previously avoided, and claiming ground you previously surrendered. Fifth, blockage breakthroughs. Areas that have been spiritually stuck will suddenly begin to move. Doors that wouldn't budge will start to crack open. Relationships that were frozen will begin to thaw. Resources that were withheld will start to flow. This atmospheric shift isn't subtle, you will feel it. This breakthrough isn't theoretical, you will experience it. This activation isn't symbolic, you will live it. The heavenly announcement, congratulations, it's over, is releasing tangible change in your earthly reality. The spiritual declaration is materializing in your physical world. Many will mistake these manifestations for coincidence. Many will attribute these changes to luck. Many will explain these breakthroughs as random timing. But you will know, your spirit will recognize, your soul will understand. This is the 12/12 activation. This is the divine release. This is the atmospheric shift that marks the end of one season and the beginning of another. Your breakthrough isn't coming, it has already begun. Chosen one, it's time to expose why darkness specifically targeted your emotions and confidence. This wasn't random. This wasn't coincidental. This wasn't ordinary spiritual warfare. This was calculated, strategic, and revealing. The enemy attacked your emotions because he couldn't touch your spirit. He targeted your feelings because he couldn't alter your destiny. He focused on your mind because he couldn't change your identity. When darkness can't stop your purpose, it attempts to stop your perception of your purpose. Every doubt planted in your mind, every fear injected into your heart, every insecurity triggered by comparison, every anxiety activated by uncertainty, every shame resurrected from your past. These weren't just attacks, they were desperate attempts to neutralize a threat. You see, in the spiritual realm, you carry weight. In the invisible world, your prayers shake foundations. In the heavenly courts, your worship changes atmospheres. In the kingdom of God, your obedience advances territory. The level of warfare reveals your level of threat to darkness. The enemy doesn't waste resources on non-threats. Darkness doesn't deploy high-level strategies against powerless people. The kingdom of hell doesn't focus attention on ineffective believers. Your opposition exposes your importance. This is why the attacks felt so personal, so precise, so persistent. The enemy studied your weaknesses, analyzed your wounds, and targeted your vulnerable areas not because you were weak, but because you were dangerous. What darkness didn't want you to know is that every attack was exposing its fear of you. When you were attacked with depression, it was because your joy threatens darkness. When you were attacked with isolation, it was because your connections build kingdom. When you were attacked with confusion, it was because your clarity demolishes deception. The enemy's strategy has now backfired completely. In attempting to hide your authority, he has actually revealed it. In trying to conceal your power, he has accidentally exposed it. In working to keep you blind to your impact, he has inadvertently shown it. Today, you reclaim what was temporarily weakened. Today, you recover what was momentarily stolen. Today, you restore what was briefly diminished. Your voice carries more power than you realize. Your prayers hold more authority than you understand. Your presence brings more light than you comprehend. Your worship creates more change than you know. The attacks weren't signs of your weakness, they were proof of your threat level. The warfare wasn't evidence of your vulnerability, it was confirmation of your authority. The enemy has been exposed. The strategy has been revealed. The truth has been declared. Now, walk in the authority that darkness tried so desperately to hide from you. Chosen one. The betrayals you experienced were not accidents, they were revelations. The rejections you endured were not random, they were strategic. The abandonments you suffered were not coincidental, they were purposeful. God allowed certain people to show their true colors before you stepped into your blessing season. Those painful moments when trusted friends turned against you, divine protection. Those shocking instances when family members betrayed your confidence, heavenly revelation. Those heartbreaking situations when supporters became saboteurs, spiritual illumination. Every betrayal was serving a higher purpose. Some walked away because they sensed your elevation and couldn't handle the light. Some spoke against you because they recognized your anointing and feared comparison. Some undermined you because they discerned your potential and dreaded being overshadowed. Some betrayed you because darkness used their insecurities as weapons against you. Some abandoned you because the enemy manipulated their wounds to wound you. Some rejected you because spiritual forces weaponized their fears to attack your confidence. But hear this clearly. No attack succeeded, no weapon prospered, no curse took root. God turned every loss into protection, every rejection into redirection, every betrayal into elevation. What the enemy meant for destruction, God transformed into development. What darkness designed for delay, heaven re-engineered for advancement. Those closed doors weren't obstacles, they were guidance. Those denied opportunities weren't failures, they were favor. Those painful endings weren't punishments, they were preservation. You've been carrying the emotional weight of betrayal, analyzing what you did wrong, questioning your discernment, wondering why God allowed such pain. But today, heaven is releasing you from those questions. The betrayals weren't about your mistakes, they were about your destiny. The rejections weren't about your flaws, they were about your future. The abandonments weren't about your worthiness, they were about your warfare. Every person who walked away was creating space for who needed to walk in. Every relationship that ended was clearing room for connections that will elevate. Every opportunity that vanished was making way for blessings that will accelerate. Today, receive freedom from the emotional wounds that have limited your advancement. Today, accept release from the betrayal pain that has restricted your trust. Today, embrace healing from the rejection trauma that has hindered your confidence. The betrayals revealed hearts so you wouldn't invest in false alliances. The rejections exposed motives so you wouldn't build on shifting foundations. The abandonments uncovered intentions so you wouldn't entrust your destiny to disloyal hands. What felt like devastation was actually divine intervention. What seemed like loss was actually liberation. What appeared as setback was actually setup. The betrayal was never your ending, it was your revelation. Chosen one, in this sacred moment, heaven is placing a crown of victory over your head. This isn't metaphorical, this isn't symbolic, this isn't figurative. This is happening in the spirit realm right now. Angels are witnessing this coronation. Heavenly hosts are attending this ceremony. The cloud of witnesses is observing this crowning. Your spiritual ancestors are celebrating this moment. The weight of past seasons is lifting from your shoulders. The burden of extended warfare is being removed from your back. The pressure of prolonged resistance is dissolving from your spirit. Feel it releasing, feel it lifting, feel it dissolving. The spiritual fog that clouded your vision is clearing. The emotional heaviness that drained your joy is lightening. The mental confusion that distorted your perception is straightening. Heaven declares over you, congratulations, it's over. The cycle is complete. The season has ended. The chapter has closed. The warfare has concluded. The enemy's assignment has expired. This crown of victory signifies 5 specific things in your life. First, authority. You now carry permission to operate in realms previously blocked to you. Second, recognition. Heaven acknowledges the battles you've fought and won. Third, completion. The testing phase of your preparation has concluded. Fourth, qualification. You've proven faithful under pressure and passed the test. Fifth, commissioning. You're being released into the assignment you were created for. This crown isn't given because you're perfect. This victory isn't granted because you're flawless. This honor isn't bestowed because you're sinless. It's given because you endured. It's granted because you persevered. It's bestowed because you remained faithful. When you wanted to quit, you pressed on. When you could have compromised, you stood firm. When you were tempted to retaliate, you showed mercy. When you had reason to give up, you chose faith. Now walk boldly, walk confidently, walk with authority. For what God is about to do in your life will silence every doubt, shock every enemy, and confirm every prophecy spoken over you. Stop right here. If you haven't subscribed yet, ask yourself why. Every time you search for clarity, every time you feel overwhelmed, God guides you to messages like this. Don't reject what heaven is trying to give you. Subscribe so you stay connected to the voice that lifts you when no one else does. Chosen one, there is divine wisdom behind every blessing that seemed delayed in your life. What appeared as God's hesitation was actually his strategic timing. What felt like heaven's forgetfulness was in fact heaven's preparation. Those blessings weren't denied, they were delayed for a specific purpose. God was waiting for 3 critical alignments before releasing what he promised you. First, he was waiting for you to develop the spiritual maturity needed to steward these blessings properly. Premature blessing can become a curse when the character to manage it hasn't been formed. What you're about to receive would have destroyed you if given earlier. The weight of it would have crushed you. The responsibility would have overwhelmed you. The attention would have corrupted you. Second, he was waiting for your enemies to position themselves where their defeat would be most visible. Had your breakthrough come sooner, many would have claimed credit for your success. Had your elevation happened earlier, certain people would have attached themselves to your blessing. Had your prosperity manifested previously, the wrong partnerships would have formed around your abundance. Third, he was waiting for your faith to reach the level where you would recognize the blessing as supernatural rather than coincidental. If these blessings had come easily, you might have attributed them to luck. If these breakthroughs had happened without resistance, you might have credited your own efforts. If these doors had opened without warfare, you might have missed the miracle. The delay wasn't denial, it was divine precision timing. Now, previously blocked areas will experience sudden acceleration. Resources that were withheld will be released with interest. Opportunities that were closed will multiply before you. Connections that were prevented will form supernaturally. This acceleration will happen in 3 specific areas. The very area where you experienced the most painful disappointment. The exact place where you suffered the most public failure. The precise situation where you endured the longest wait. God allowed the delay to deepen your hunger. He permitted the wait to purify your motives. He designed the pause to perfect your character. What you received through the 12/12 portal couldn't have been given to the person you were before this season of testing. It required the person you've become through endurance. Your delayed blessing was never forgotten, it was merely perfecting. Chosen one, A divine positioning is happening around you right now. Heaven is strategically placing specific people in your path, destiny helpers assigned to assist your elevation. After seasons of isolation, after periods of fighting alone, after moments of wondering if anyone understood your journey, God is sending reinforcements. These destiny connections are being divinely orchestrated. These kingdom alignments are being supernaturally arranged. These covenant relationships are being heavenly prepared. How will you recognize these heaven-sent allies? They will appear at the exact moment of your need. They will speak directly to questions you haven't voiced. They will offer assistance in areas where you secretly struggle. They will bring resources that perfectly match your current assignment. These connections won't feel forced, they will feel familiar, as if you've known them before. These relationships won't require excessive explanation, they will understand your vision intuitively. These allies won't need convincing, they will recognize your anointing immediately. Watch for these 3 types of destiny helpers entering your life. The confirmer, someone who validates what God has been saying to you in secret, bringing external witness to internal revelation. The door opener, someone with access and authority in areas where you've been denied entry, creating pathways where barriers once stood. The resource provider, someone carrying exactly what you need for your next assignment, offering support that perfectly addresses your current limitation. These destiny helpers will appear through unexpected vessels. Some will come from places you previously rejected. Some will emerge from backgrounds you wouldn't have chosen. Some will arrive through circumstances you wouldn't have arranged. This is why divine discernment is crucial in this season. Your natural preferences might blind you to supernatural provision. Your human judgment might miss heavenly connection. Your personal criteria might overlook divine assignment. Your spirit must lead your recognition, not your eyes. Your discernment must guide your reception, not your logic. Your spiritual sensitivity must direct your connection, not your history. You've been moving from painful isolation to strategic kingdom alignment. You've been transitioning from lonely warfare to divine partnership. You've been shifting from solitary burden to shared mission. The 12/12 release is bringing human reinforcement to match your spiritual assignment. Heaven is surrounding you with people who will strengthen, not drain you. Elevate, not diminish you. Confirm, not confuse you. Your days of walking alone have served their purpose. Now comes the blessing of aligned companionship. Chosen one, darkness made a critical error in its campaign against you. The enemy overplayed his hand. The opposition exposed its strategy. The warfare revealed its weakness. What was meant to destroy you has now become the very evidence that will condemn your attackers. The enemy miscalculated 5 crucial factors about you. First, he underestimated your resilience. He thought sustained pressure would break you, but instead, it strengthened your spiritual muscles. He believed prolonged attacks would exhaust your faith, but they actually deepened your dependence on God. Second, he misjudged your divine protection. He assumed his weapons would penetrate your defense, but they couldn't breach heaven's shield. He thought his words would poison your mind, but they couldn't override God's promises. Third, he misunderstood your assignment. He fought against what he thought was your purpose, while your true calling remained hidden in plain sight. He deployed forces against a decoy, while your actual mission advanced undetected. Fourth, he misinterpreted your struggles as weakness. When you questioned God, the enemy celebrated, not realizing your questions were signs of authentic relationship, not failing faith. When you cried, darkness rejoiced, not understanding your tears were watering seeds of breakthrough. Fifth, and most critically, he miscalculated God's investment in you. The enemy saw your flaws and assumed heaven would abandon you. He witnessed your mistakes and expected divine rejection. He catalogued your failures and anticipated heavenly disappointment. What the enemy didn't know was that God had already factored in every weakness, accounted for every stumble, and compensated for every limitation. The attack that should have ended your story became the turning point of your testimony. The warfare designed to silence you has become the catalyst for your voice. The battle intended to bury you has positioned you for resurrection. This is the divine irony. The very weapons formed against you are now being transformed into tools for your advancement. The very strategies crafted for your demise are being repurposed for your development. The enemy's greatest attack has become heaven's perfect setup for your greatest comeback. Chosen one. Ancient promises are now aligning with current divine timing in your life. Words spoken over you years ago are suddenly finding their moment of manifestation. Prophecies that seemed forgotten are now being remembered by heaven. This 12/12 portal is activating dormant declarations over your life. Those prophetic words weren't false, they were future. Those divine promises weren't wrong, they were waiting. Those heavenly declarations weren't mistaken, they were maturing. Every authentic word aligned with God's heart for you has been preserved in heaven's records. Not one syllable has been forgotten, not one promise has expired, not one declaration has lost its power. The long wait wasn't punishment, it was qualification. The extended delay wasn't denial, it was development. The prolonged silence wasn't rejection, it was refinement. God was preparing both you and the moment. He was aligning both your character and the circumstances. He was positioning both your heart and your harvest. This is why certain prophetic words have suddenly begun resonating in your spirit again. This is why specific promises have unexpectedly started burning in your heart. This is why particular scriptures have abruptly begun following you everywhere. The time of fulfillment is activating their power. The precise spiritual mechanics of this 12/12 activation involve the completion of divine cycles. In heaven's calendar, certain numbers represent completion, and 12 signifies governmental perfection and completed foundation. When 12/12 appears, it marks the closing of one governmental order and the opening of another. It signals the ending of one foundational season and the beginning of the next. For you, this means words that fell to the ground are being resurrected. Seeds that seemed dead are suddenly sprouting. Promises that appeared forgotten are being remembered. Prophecies that seemed delayed are accelerating. The fulfillment won't look exactly like you imagined, it will be better. The manifestation won't come exactly as you expected, it will be greater. The completion won't feel exactly as you anticipated, it will be fuller. Your long season of waiting has doubled your portion. Your extended period of testing has multiplied your reward. Your prolonged time of preparation has expanded your capacity. What God promised is finally finding its moment. Chosen one, the moment has arrived for your divine commissioning. Everything you've endured was preparation. Every test you survived was training. Every tear you shed was investment. Every battle you fought was qualification. Heaven is now releasing your specific kingdom assignment. You are not just being elevated, you are being deployed. You are not just being blessed, you are being commissioned. You are not just being restored, you are being released. Your role in this greater kingdom movement is both unique and essential. No one else carries your exact spiritual DNA. No one else possesses your specific testimony. No one else holds your particular authority. This is your divine mandate, to carry hope where despair has ruled, to speak life where death has dominated, to bring light where darkness has prevailed. You are transitioning from wounded warrior to commissioned carrier of hope. The very areas where you were most deeply hurt will become the places of your greatest authority. The exact situations where you suffered most intensely will become the sources of your strongest ministry. The precise wounds that nearly destroyed you will become weapons that destroy the enemy's works. What tried to crush you will now crown you. What attempted to silence you will now amplify you. What sought to bury you will now broadcast you. When God screams your name across the heavens on 12/12, it won't just be celebration, it will be announcement. It won't merely be recognition, it will be commissioning. It won't simply be acknowledgement, it will be authorization. Walk in your new authority that silences every past doubt. Step into your divine assignment that cancels every former accusation. Move in your heavenly commissioning that overrides every previous limitation. Your 12/12 release isn't just freedom from your past, it's launching into your future. Before you go, chosen one, don't forget, the fact that you made it to the end of this message means something. Your spirit needed this. Don't walk away without subscribing. It costs nothing, but it means everything for the journey God is taking you on. Join the family. Your breakthrough might be in the next video. CTA.